Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com. Vinyl video number 2 that I'm playing catch up, so hopefully I can get through this as far as possible. These are the non-metal vinyl that I picked up in the last couple months. First I'll show some 7 inches. I got, this was way back in maybe April. The Mars Volta, A Plague Upon Your Hissing Corpse, number 141, I think, yeah, out of 300, not number 14. Which, Mars Volta, I am a pretty big fan of them, of their music and their catalog, but I don't have any of their vinyl. Their vinyl is way too expensive for my budget at this point. I've seen stuff sold for as much as $200 or $300 for copies of like Francis the Mutant, Delouse, and the Comatorium. So maybe someday, but it was cool to find something that wasn't quite as expensive. I almost bought Nocturnicate, the last album. I saw it for I think $35 or $40, and I was trying to bargain with the guy at the store, and he would only go down like $5, and I was like, you know, it's an album I like, but I was only really willing to spend maybe 20 or 25 tops. I mean, maybe I should have done that, but anyway. So I mean, the song specifically, you know, it's from Delouse. It's one of the bonus tracks or a missing track on Delouse, A Plague Upon Your Hissing. I believe that's because it's deleted from Delouse and the Comatorium. So. Anyway, and then the band Annuals, a band I haven't really ever talked about on this channel that much, but a lot in the blog, of course. Not too active anymore, although they've gotten back together, but they were kind of active in the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s. I saw them 4 or 5 times live. Excellent live band. They have a couple really good albums. I'll maybe try to do a feature on them eventually, though that could be 6 months to a year from now, depending on my schedule. But yeah, I got this single. It's called Fair and Swing Low. It came out in 2007, so it was around the time of their second record, which is probably, there's Bohemian, and then there's the one with Springtime, which I'm blanking on. So I do have Bohemian, but I'm not going to show it today. But the point I got it, I wasn't making videos really. But I remember they did like a special, like a Kickstarter or like a pre-order deal on that, but. Anyway, these 7 inches don't want to go back like they should. So, alright, so this is a few records from 2016 I want to show. I'm wearing my t-shirt today. Cloud Cult, The Seeker. Yeah, I've been waiting, we ordered it last November, December, something like that. And this is recycled vinyl, and it's a picture disc. And it finally came in through the Pledge Music campaign. The Seeker still pretty much remains my favorite album of the year, although there's a couple of albums that are kind of creeping up on it, like Fate's Warning and the new Dream the Electric Sleep. But as you can see, this is really cool. But I'm kind of thinking that this is probably the first and last time that Cloud Cult will ever make vinyl. It is recycled vinyl, so it's environmentally friendly. But it's been just a headache for them to try to get this done, and the delays. They were wanting to get it out by the springtime, and let me show the jacket real quickly. I've talked about this. I did a review of this album. Yeah, this is really cool, like, obviously personalized artwork. The concept of The Seeker. I still don't know why more people aren't talking about this album, but, you know, I guess it's not, they're not that ambitious to try to get their name everywhere. I mean, they just want to do their thing at their own, basically, their own way, and, you know, they figure people will come along, and eventually they hopefully will. But, I mean, just to reiterate my take on this record, why it's my favorite record of the year so far, The Seeker. Concept of the movie, the concept of the story of this girl's life, that kind of thing. My favorite song specifically, You Never Were Alone is a, you know, tearjerker, heart-wrenching song. Songs like To the Great Unknown, Everything That You Thought You had that synth part I love. Pilgrimage, Through the Ages, you know, but it's very much, No Hell was the first single, and that's also really catchy. But I would just say, yeah, this is another one of these Cloud Cult albums that's just excellent start to finish. It really goes along with a number of their recent records, especially, which I really adore. And again, as you can see, I also got it signed, which I rarely remember to show that, a lot of these records, but I hate to try to put that in there and waste time on the video. So I also got, within the last maybe 2-3 weeks, British Theatre, the debut album. I believe it's just self-titled, or no, it's Mastery actually. Yep, and it also is signed. Which I do like this album. I think I mentioned that in a video before. and I guess it's being maybe unfairly compared to Van Art's debut album last year, The Demon Joke, but very electronic. It's a lot different, but it's actually maybe more similar to some of the stuff off the new Mute Math album, which I need to get actually on vinyl. I saw the other day and I was thinking about buying it, but yeah, it's very. Also, it reminds me a little bit of OSI, which I was thinking the OSI fans would be interested in checking this out. But I think it's released on Super Bowl Music too, which is underneath like an umbrella of like Inside Out, which is a prog label. But clear vinyl, is it clear vinyl or whatever you want to call this, like a yellow. But yeah, I guess I gotta give this a little more time. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad Mike's able to make this. Mike Van Art and Gambler and the other guys are able to make this. If there is no Oceanside still, but I don't know if I want to start naming specific favorites. Capra is really beautiful. If I remember, the last time I listened to this was at least a month ago. The title track, Newman, Cross the Swords, Gold Bruise. So it's probably, I mean, I'm giving it about 3.5 stars right now. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it ends up by the end of the year. But one more 2016 record, the I Am the Morning's Lighthouse album. And I think I thought I did talk about this previously. This hasn't grabbed me like some of the other. Belighted is one of the songs on here. That's weird. Maybe this Lighthouse. It was a I haven't listened to this album maybe since the first couple weeks it came out. I know I pre-ordered it because I liked Belighted, their previous album, so much. I remember this being more stripped down, more acoustic almost. There's more other instruments on this, but I don't know. Again, I'm glad to support them. I really like a lot of their music. The previous album, specifically Belighted, the most, but this is maybe one that I need just to give a little more time. So, but as far as 2016 stuff, so here's a few others that I picked up and wanting. Another Record Store Day item I didn't get on Record Store Day, but did get through the mail. I did find Peregrine from the Appleseed cast, which is like Dark Tranquility on that previous metal video I just did. This is my favorite album from the Appleseed cast. This came out in 2006, I believe, and that was the year I got into the Appleseed cast. And there's a song on here called February, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's the last track on side 2, which I'll show. But I always think of that song, we should always play it like the first week of February or sometime in February. I don't mean to do that. Yeah, it's got the stain, it's like a, whatever you want to call this, a grayish kind of thing. February is on that side right there. Appleseed Cast are sort of a post-college prog band of sorts, post-rock. But they're not really post-rock in the sense they don't have like long instrumental kind of nature music guitar passages, exactly like Explosions in the Sky. But they do use those textures at points. Okay, here's the side, this is side 3 and 4, which has the title track. Another album that I've obviously rated and loved, to the point that Woodland Hunter, I remember that song. I really loved when I got into it, and I think I didn't have that many albums I rated in 2006, as weird as that sounds, that was 10 years ago. But this was among my favorite 10 albums for sure. And yeah, I mean, Appleseed Cast I remember one thing comparing them to Radiohead. As much as I don't care for Radiohead, I enjoy a lot of bands that are like Radiohead. The only thing about this is I was thinking it would be more green, because the CD actually is green. It's more like a hard sort of spinach green, or just more thick. But this is more of almost a navy bluish green. But anyway, yeah, I think they're from like Kansas City, somewhere in the Midwest. I saw them live once. I went to see Do Make Say Think the same day at the Varsity Theater. It was kind of a fun concert jump, because they played pretty early at the entry at First Avenue. So then I also found within the last couple of months, I think it was at St. Paul Cheapo, Hospice from the Antlers. So along with the Appleseed Cast and Dark Tranquility, my favorite album from the Antlers. And I have to admit that all the stuff they've put out since hasn't really done that much for me. It's been okay. The one after it, Burst Apart, was okay, and I would see that album. I would never see this. So it really just totally got me excited when I finally tracked a copy of this down. This is an amazing melancholy album. The sort of falsetto vocals from, his name, he's Jewish, Peter, Well, not a lot of information on this, unless there's a sheet inside. Okay, there is a sheet inside from the Antlers. His name is Peter something. Silberman. Yeah, he does his whole, like, reminds me of Jimmy Necco, or the style is almost like Never Ending White Lights, or another band I haven't talked about that much on video, but really do love. Very, like, almost Porcupine Tree or Steven Wilson like, or like Blackfield like. This whole album, though, as weird as it sounds, you can see the lyric sheet. I associate it with getting into it right around the time my grandfather passed away, who was in hospice. I remember hearing about it earlier in the year, and I wasn't sure what to think, but I saw one comparison to Jeff Buckley, which, again, the falsetto vocals sort of fits. But, yeah, it's nostalgia very much, just from that. It was the end of 2009, and I just got just possessed by this album. As far as my favorite tracks go, and it was very popular among the whole hipster crowd, but I didn't care. This was almost progressive rock in a way. I would go with Kettering, 13, 2, Bear, and Epilogue. But this is definitely an lover's album. Very much you should listen to it at once. It's not that long. It's like 40 minutes, but a lot of textures, a lot of guitar, like acoustic passages of acoustic guitar. Hospice, I want to get if they ever issue their previous album, their first album on vinyl, I would probably get it. The stuff after it just hasn't done that much for me, unfortunately. Alright, so then I found this just randomly. I forget it was at Cheapo or where it was I found it. But As Tall as Lions, who are also, like, they did a reunion recently. But one of the guys, of course, has played with the Deer Hunter, who I'm about to show, but Rob Parr, he was at least a touring member of As Tall as Lions. This is not their last album, which is my favorite, and I think I have on vinyl, but I'm not certain of that. You Can't Take It With You? I forget the name of it. But this is called Into the Flood. I think I have this on CD. I bought it at one of their shows. But I honestly can't speak in great detail about all the different tracks on here. I think this came out before the last album. The album had circles on it, and it just... that was one that I just never expected. This band as a whole, I never expected to enjoy as much, but I kept on going back to them and enjoyed them more and more. Not that they're a favorite, but they definitely mixed well with, like, fans of the Deer Hunter and Dredge, because I think they toured with Dredge, if I'm not mistaken. So it was great to find something of theirs on vinyl. So I did pick up Act 3, the reissue vinyl, so I have all the reissues, different artwork and all this stuff. I'm sort of the Deer Hunter lifer and everything, and I did talk about Act 3, I believe, in the video, so I'm just going to show, you can go back to the Deer Hunter vinyl videos and elaborate more, although I've never fully done that, but, you know, I mean, it has Mustard Gas, it has Father, and, is it Son? The closing pieces, right? Son, Father, and Life and Death, you know, This Beautiful Life. He said he had a story, Saved. I mean, the whole record is almost perfect. You know, Go Get Your Guns, the only track on it that I'm not, you know. But I guess I should probably talk more in depth about it at some point. I don't know, we'll see. So many videos, not nearly enough time, and when you're trying to plan and pay for a wedding and everything, you have even less time. But you can see I don't know, again, the fidelity compared to the one that was that came out in 2009, because this was probably issued in the last year or two. In 2000, and the original pressing probably went out of print with different artwork and everything. So, all right, getting down here, I got this, which Madonna. I'm not a huge Madonna fan. Okay, but the biggest reason why I got this, of course, is this is from the Dick Tracy soundtrack, and Kevin Gilbert did remix and additional production by Kevin Gilbert for Giraffe Productions, produced by Madonna and Bill Bottrell. That was for the song Hanky Panky, Bare Bones single mix. So, I mean, I'm just a you know, a completist for Kevin, and so this has Kevin's work on it of some kind, and I have it. And I found, well, I didn't open this. I'm not going to open this. I found a Robert Fripp item. It wasn't cheap, but it was a League of Crafty Guitarists. It's called and the League of Crafty Guitarists Live, and I think it came out maybe in the 90s. Well, 86 actually. As you can see the picture there at the bottom, if you can see that. But yeah, after seeing Robert Fripp and his guitar orchestra of like 60 or 70 different guitarists playing simultaneously and stuff, it I found this right on the same time. I just had to buy it, even though I see his stuff sometime, and sometimes it pass on it. A Boiled and Lead album that I haven't opened either, with an insert. Again, it was a little more inexpensive than some. But again, I think this is the first date Boiled and Lead album. It only has Drew Miller. I think he's the only original member on this. Because I think this came out, yeah, I don't see the year on it. But yeah, this is Boiled and Lead are a local Minnesota sort of Celtic rock folk band that are experimental, and they have their charm. You know, they're not really progressive, but that doesn't really matter to me. I showed this on a video when I found this. This was a big deal to me to find a 12-inch single from King's X. It's Love, and we were born to be Love. 6 Broken Shoulders on Soldiers on side 2, the extended version, which it's not on YouTube. I did look for it and I could not find it, so it's in decent shape. But any King's X I will snatch up if I can. But I mean, the condition on this isn't perfect, obviously. Although I think some of that's the actual design, if you can see. It's not so much that it's scratched up. It's just that sort of, it was an intentionally sort of scattered design on that artwork. I think I'm going to pass on it. So then the other things I found, I'll just wrap this up here. I had the first Galactic Cowboys. I didn't find this. I ordered this online. It finally took like 2 or 3 months. I got it from England. The first Galactic Cowboys album, self-titled album, which I'm going to do a feature on them at some point. Yeah, this is. I should have put this in the metal video actually, but anyway, this is. I just love these guys, and a lot of their stuff is not on vinyl. The second album, which is my favorite, Space in Your Face, might be, but I mean, it's this. I didn't spend a ton of money on it, but I mean, I just have to, you know, my funds right now are being so focused on some other stuff like a wedding that once I, you know, can finally breathe a little bit, some of the stuff I know I can find on eBay, I probably will start buying, but and then eventually listen to. I have a turntable right there, of course, but yeah, it's great to finally have something from one of my favorite bands of all time. I mean, one of my 50 favorite bands of all time, or 30 favorite bands of all time. And they do have an album they're working on. It could be coming out early next year, probably in 2017. So then a couple other favorites. This is at Cheapo in Minneapolis. My fiance actually found this, although I probably would have found it myself. I would have regretted it if I didn't. Picture Disc from Marillion, Incommunicado, and going under the 12-inch, which I think I have the 7-inch, but this one is a little bigger. I don't know what else is different other than the size and maybe some of the artwork, like the second side. Add to my my quest to acquire as many, if not the entire, like every single, at least one version of every single Marillion single from the 80s at least. I mean, I'd say every one of them, but the 80s on vinyl would make the most sense. And then Sugar Mice 12-inch, which I think, again, I have that. One of these I have at least, maybe both of them. I can't remember. I should know my collection better than I am right at the moment remembering. But it has Sugar Mice, the extended version, as the A-side, and Sugar Mice, the album version of the B-side, you can see, and then also Tucson, which was released, previously on the release, but was released obviously through singles, and then on the remastered version of Clutching at Straws in the 90s. So, yeah, this other stuff. This is a Marillion thing that my fiance also found for like $3. He Knows She Knows on a compilation with George Clinton, Burning Sensations. It's called Plenty Good Music from Capitol. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Duran Duran is on this. Is there something I should know? The Tubes, Sheriff, and Little River Band. And then a local band called Falcon Arrow I saw at the Mercury Tree. Their album Tower, which I haven't even given a go, but I was just donating to a band that I wanted to help out that's from here, basically. Didn't spend a fortune on it. And then the Rubinoos, band that Kevin Gilbert worked with, and of course John Rubin's the keeper of his estate. Their album Party of Two. This isn't the album that Kevin worked on, but produced by Todd Rundgren, though, so among other people. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like, and I'll see you next time.